5:50. It's 10 minutes till 6 o'clock here on Sport Talk and WGOW. Our Jasper Highlands Basketball Hour with Dane Bradshaw each and every Tuesday. And I want to say, first of all, that we thank Jasper Highlands for providing us with Coach Bruce Pearl this afternoon, and we appreciate everything. TNland.com. Anybody can check that out and see what you guys got going on.
Coach Pearl will be glad to know that I've still got some shameless self-promotion going between using him for my greater good.
Jasper Highlands, Dane Bradshaw. I know I'm brought to you by somebody.
Exactly right. And, Coach, we want to explain to the folks that you're doing a little traveling through the mountains, so if we do lose you, of course, we'll try to get you back on the air. But thank you so much for your time this afternoon. We all miss you up in Knoxville and love hearing your thoughts on basketball.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm just entering into Henderson County right now, driving through Asheville, coming home to beautiful Tennessee. So I just we may get messed up, but let's talk some basketball.
Well, Bradshaw says he made you, Coach, now.
Coach Pearl, he my guy, Coach, how you doing, my man?
I'm good, Dane. How you doing?
I'm good. The only time we can actually get a few minutes to talk is if we come on a radio show together here, I guess. But
that's wrong. That is wrong.
I know it. I was laughing on the way in. Somebody had asked me earlier. It was actually a customer we had over at Property the other day. There, Coach Pearl run a lot of plays for you. I said, well, I was playing the 4 under you, Coach, and you did run some plays for the 4-man to get the shot. But on those plays, you moved me to the 5. We'd go through practice. We go, all right, we got a great spot where we're going to really get the 4 open for a 3. Hey, Dane, nothing personal, just business. You're going to move to the 5 on this play. We're going to let Chris shoot this one here. Yeah.
Well, that's just putting your people in position to be successful. That's all. Dane, I trusted you more with the ball in your hands to get one of those other 4 guys a good look, and that's my job as a coach, put your people in position to be successful.
There you go. Coach, saw you do some studio analyst this weekend. You do a great job on that, but what was your initial thoughts on the beatdown that Tennessee gave to Kentucky?
Oh. Well, I actually wrote something on ESPN.com that came out today. I wrote it Friday. And I thought Tennessee would win the basketball game. In fact, I tweeted before the game that no team had beaten Kentucky more and that the ball was going to be tough at home. And remember, this Tennessee team almost beat Kentucky with Nerlens Noel in Lexington. Kentucky's a mess. I mean, they're in big trouble. This basketball team is a long way from being a competitive team, being an NCAA tournament team. And Tennessee took full advantage of it. They got to the rim anytime they wanted to. And I think one of the real keys to this team is the fact that for them to be the best that they could possibly be, Trey Golden he's got to go offensively. He's a very talented offensive player who's capable of playing like he did the other night. He's got some deficiencies on the defensive end. But in order for Tennessee to really do something special this year, he's got to be able to play like that.
Coach, Trey Golden, a lot of people forget, but that's a guy that you brought to Tennessee, as well as Jordan McRae, 2 guys that have really been bright spots for the team this year and have had some ups and downs, but certainly carrying their load. And then you actually initially were recruiting Jarnell Stokes really hard, who's been a beast as well. You mind touching on those a little bit on those 3 guys and what you saw of them at the high school level and kind of their progress to what you're seeing to date?
Well, Trey was a 5A player of the year in the state of Georgia, and he's a physically mature kid. And he's really good in transition. He's really good in up-tempo. He's going to give us and take us away some, and he's going to make all of his free throws late in the game. You got to understand that defensively, he's not always going to be able to do everything that Coach Conzo Martin wants him to do because he's got some physical limitations, and he never played much defense in high school. Jordan McRae is a talented player. He was brought in to get ready for when Scotty Hopson was going to go to the league, when Cameron Tatum was done. I think one of the keys to recruiting is you got to bring guys in before you got to have to put them out there in those roles. Dane, you remember your senior year. We didn't have that luxury. We had to bring, Ramar Smith and Duke Cruz and Wayne Chisholm, and those guys all had to play.
Right.
And that was tough. But fortunately, there was enough guys on that team, enough veterans to bring those kids along. So, you bring Jerron Mayman in when you really don't need him behind Tobias Harris because you're going to lose Tobias Harris. And then when you do, hey, you got the second-team all-conference player. And the same thing with Jordan McRae. He's maturing physically, emotionally, gosh, I wish he'd have redshirted his freshman year. We tried to get him to redshirt, but he wanted to play. Could you imagine if he was sitting here right now as a redshirt sophomore with 2 more years left to play? By God, we'd be talking about one of the best in the SEC right now, but still a terrific scorer. And then Jarnell Stokes, I'm really glad to see him doing more, being more assertive. I love his tempo, and I love the fact that he's calm with the ball in the post. But at the same time, he's got to play with more spurts of energy, changing ends defensively, rebounding the basketball, working harder without the ball. I like the fact that he's calm with it, but he plays at too calm a tempo for my liking over a period of 35 minutes.
Can he leave early, Coach?
He can leave early, and the question is, how much is he going to develop by coming back next year? What does the draft look like as far as comparing this draft to next year's draft? And quite frankly, I think there's a real strong tug to come back next year because with Jerron Mayman as a senior and Trey Golden as a senior and Jordan McRae, I think this Tennessee could be a preseason top 10 team in the country.
Coach, we're talking with Coach Bruce Pearl here on the Jasper Highlands Basketball Hour with Dane Bradshaw. Your thoughts, really, because you were an assistant coach in the Big Ten for many, many years. That conference this year has really, to me, been head and shoulders above everybody else. And those games, when they lock up, whether it's Michigan, Ohio State, or Indiana, Michigan State tonight, I mean, these have been tremendous matchups.
Been great matchups, and tennis run this conference, I take by far. But, Michigan State's the only Big Ten school to win a national championship in the last, say, 20, 25 years.
Right.
And so it's time for the Big Ten to step up and get back there in the national scene. Tonight will be a great ball game. Indiana, the best offensive team, I think, in the country as far as their balance is concerned, so many ways to score. The reason why they're having a great year is they're improved defensively. Easy baskets tonight. The winner, the team that can create some turnovers and get some easy baskets or get some offensive rebounds, because both teams are having a hard time scoring against one another in half court.
Coach,
go ahead, Joe.
What are your thoughts on this Miami team? Because it seems like they have just come out of nowhere and all of a sudden are a powerhouse almost.
If you took that Miami jersey off of them and you replaced it with a North Carolina jersey or a Duke jersey, and there was a team that had a 3-game lead in middle February and undefeated in the ACC, you'd be calling them a dynasty. And you'd be crowning them champions of the ACC and guarantees to get to the Final Four.
Yeah.
Miami.
Dane mentioned that that kind of reminded him of a program when you took over that kind of got a fire lit underneath them and really saw great success that first year.
Yeah, I think so. Now, we didn't have Reggie Johnson and Kitty Kaji and but you know what? We had a lot better team than people gave us credit for. Buzz Peterson left the program in a much better position than he got credit for. Now, we talked about it. I talked about it a lot my first year. I never, ever got away from the fact that we had good players. And it was a perfect fit for me and the way we like to play. But, Dane, I think in many ways you are right. We really did come a long way that first year. And in some ways with Major Wingate and Andre Patterson, we had some pieces that this Miami team has as well.
Coach, you're doing an awesome job on the commentating. I love watching the halftimes there, and it's fun for me because as you're calling the highlights, it's the same type of language and demeanor that I used to hear sitting right next to you in the film room, and say, we got to get that 50-50 ball. It's like I'm right there again. It gets me pumped up. But I guess a two-part question. Which do you enjoy more, being in the studio or calling the game? And then whichever one of those is the answer, is it enough to kind of scratch that basketball itch for you? I know the lifestyle is probably a little bit better than coaching, but is it enough to scratch that itch that we know you have for coaching in college basketball?
Well, Dane, I prefer the games to the studio. But right now, ESPN Birds, myself, and Seth Greenberg in the studio. So I'll do as good a job as I possibly can there. As far as the basketball is concerned, I still miss the game. I miss the kids. I miss the coaches. I miss the camaraderie. I miss being challenged by another coach and the way he wants to play and see if the things that we like to do can first.
Coach, are you there?
Position. Yes, we're right here.
All right, Coach, the NCAA, the NBA, and the one and done, where are we going?
The NBA is in charge, and they've got to get together, and they got to look at the fact that this year, guys, 11 first-round draft choices, 11 spent time in the D-League this year, and of those 11, 10 of them left early.
Wow.
And so I think the NBA and their collective bargaining agreement have got to look at this and say, wait a second. If you want to come out of high school, fine. But if you want to go to college, you got to spend a couple of years there because we got a lot of guys in that D-League that aren't going to be able to sign that professional contract, that second contract. That second contract is the one that's going to take care of them and their family for a long, long time. They might never get to it because they left too early. I think it's with the NBA and the Players Association to make that change. I think 2 years in college will do a lot to improve our game, but I think it'll also be in the best interest of those student athletes and professionals as well as the NBA clubs getting something that's more right and more ready.
Amen.
I agree with that. And Coach Dane loves you. We love you. We love the time you had with the Tennessee Vols basketball team. But don't let Dane suck up to you too much because every time he comes in here, it's, man, that was a triple-double waiting to happen. Coach wouldn't let me loose.
Well, let me tell you something. My family and I, we were blessed. I coached a lot of players and a lot of great players, a lot of great kids during the course of my career. And just like children, you don't love one any more than you love another, although I liked a few more than I liked a few others. But I felt it was really important that we create a scholarship at the University of Tennessee in honor of what Dane Bradshaw did, because I just didn't want there to ever be a time in the history of Tennessee basketball when anybody ever forgot that a 6'3" power forward went toe-to-toe against the best that Kentucky and Florida had, and we never had to apologize for putting that guy out there on the floor. And the recipients of that scholarship are going to always hear just how special a time it was for Tennessee basketball and what an important player Dane Bradshaw was in Tennessee basketball history.
Wow.
Yeah, that's strong. And even stronger is the fact that walk-on Stephen Pearl got to be one of those recipients.
Stephen was always mad at me that I always made him stay and walk. I said, listen, the only scholarship you're going to be on is that Bruce Pearl scholarship. That is going to write you a check so I can go recruit another player with that money.
But Coach Bradshaw said you never saw him in middle school when he was really a beast.
Yeah, that's right.
That's his prime, he says.
Yeah. We were talking, Coach. It was a pretty good story that came up the other week, a couple weeks ago. We've talked a lot about going down memory lane here on this show, and
Memphis basketball. And
of course the win at Rupp was incredible your first year, but one of the games we were talking about was actually a loss at LSU when the fans were chanting my name and chanting Bradshaw's gay and getting all over me and they were saying we want Bradshaw at the end of the game, and you went over to me and asked me if I wanted to go back in. I said, hell yeah, I'll go back in. All right, let's go. And grabbed my hand and put it up like a boxer going in the ring and walked me over to the scores table and yelled, is this what you want? And sit me right back in there. So.
All right, Coach, along those lines, someone asked me to ask you this question, and I've asked Dane about it. He says it wasn't him, and I've asked other people. Did you ever call a timeout at the end of the game and have a player guard the referee because he was killing you?
I'm not going to answer that question because that's one of my best banquet stories. And if I ever do get back into coaching and you see that happen, I wanted you to hear it here first.
All right, so we'll just put that on hold.
That's right. That's part of the Bruce Pearl lore, right?
Yeah. All right,
Coach, really appreciate your time this afternoon, and always good to have you here on Sport Talk in Chattanooga. And we wish you continued success.
Sorry about the connection, guys. We'll do it again sometime.
We love you.
That sounds good.
Thanks, Coach.
Definitely sounds good.
Take care.
All right, there you go. And again, Jasper Highlands brings you Coach Bruce Pearl, and that's where Dane. You put a little time in down there, tnland.com, and encouraging folks to check it out, whether it be a retirement situation or the new home or a second home. I mean, all those options can be satisfied at Jasper Highlands.